Hello my friends, welcome to my home. I promised you guys when we moved into this house that I would do a full house tour once it was like renovated and done, and I know there'll be a million more projects that I want to do, but we have pretty much fully renovated this whole house, which is crazy because like we did it with our own 4 hands. I'm really excited to show you guys around today. The inspiration is like English country cottage vibes. So you'll see a lot of thrifted pieces, a lot of like crafty DIY elements. And this is what you see when you first walk in. This is our entryway. Banister is my favorite to decorate for Christmas. It is so much fun. I can't believe that I get to decorate a house. That's just so surreal to me still after 4 years. We have this little thrifted table here that I got for $3.99 and this gorgeous mirror that's like very like carved Nordic looking that I got for free on Facebook Marketplace. It was actually Matt's idea to have these big portraits up here, and it feels very like Harry Potter castle-esque, which is fun. And if you turn to the right, you end up in the dining room. I think this is the room that's been through the most iterations since we moved in. It was like a sitting room with a couch and chairs. Now it's this like formal dining room. We really only host formal dinners every so often, mostly during the holidays. But what we end up using this table a lot for is crafts. So it actually makes it a very functional room. Like I made Matt clean up all of his 3D printed armor stuff that he was working on so I could film this video, but normally this is laden with craft supplies. Here's kind of the wide view from the door. This dining table is actually from our wedding. It's where the bridesmaids and groomsmen sat at our wedding, and we bought it. And we've had it ever since. It's been like 7-8 years. And then we have one of the 2 fireplaces in this house, which is nuts to me. I'm absolutely in love with having a gas fireplace. We use them all the time. Then you can kind of see in here, if we swing around, we have this little area. I am fully aware that this is too many chairs for this room. I've been meaning to put these ones on Marketplace because we actually want to turn this whole wall into a library. So all the way up to the ceiling and then over the arch here, and then have a ladder. Very like Beauty and the Beast inspired, and I do plan to film the entire thing. I think we're gonna start on that pretty soon, knock on wood. So if you want to follow along on the journey, I will be vlogging the whole thing. But for now, we have these shelves, which are also very pretty. Some of my favorite things up here are this piece of marble, which we picked up off the ground in Greece when we were on our honeymoon. And of course, my Mr. Darcy bust. If I could save something in a fire, other than photos, it would probably be this. Then walking through the dining room, we get to the kids' playroom. Our kiddos are 2 and 4, so we're at the age where we are very grateful to have a dedicated space for them to play in. We've got these kind of like Montessori style cube shelves, play kitchen, bookshelf, and then on the other side is like the grown-up side. So we've got a couch so we can sit while we play with them. Then Matt actually has his work from home station set up in this room as well. I don't know how he does it with them running underfoot, but he's a champ. Many hours of play and fun are had in here. And the house is a very circular layout, so you can actually walk right through into the kitchen area, complete with husband making cinnamon rolls at the moment. Kitchen being the heart of the home is very true in our case. This room and the adjoining room, which is our family room, are where we spend most of our time. I am in love with our kitchen. This is one of the spaces that we didn't really have to do much to because the previous owner, who happened to be a really good friend, had already renovated the countertops and painted the cabinets, and it's just such a warm, cottagey, cozy feel in here. I feel like most of what we did was like change the knobs. We added a lot of textiles to kind of warm up the space and give it a little bit more texture. I pretty much always have fresh flowers from the garden on the counter, which is just like a life goal of mine, and it makes me so happy. And then I love all of my little trinkets, pretty much all of them thrifted on top of the cabinets. I know that having cabinets that don't go all the way to the ceiling is like considered suboptimal for a lot of people. Like people will renovate their cabinets just so they go all the way to the ceiling. And if that works for you, great. But I like this better because it's an extra opportunity to decorate and it just brings me so much joy. I change everything out with all of the seasons. So it just really goes to show you that value is in the eye of the beholder. These vintage plates are one of the newest additions. I still need to find a way to hang them up so they're not quite so tilted. We've got our little Smeg toaster over here, always a favorite. Oh, it looks like husband left some coffee for me. Thank you, love. We were actually hanging this up when I was in labor with Juniper, so I know the exact day that got added to the house. Also the infamous fridge gallery that I did not expect to go so viral on Instagram. It's usually some toddler artwork up here, which I love. And then this is a space I never really get to show on camera, but I think it's such a charming little corner. I've got this like pots and pans rail that I got from IKEA with just some like vintage copper pans and some aprons, and then I have this little print by a lovely artist named Robin Elise Draws, and I'm noticing now as I'm saying this that it's come away from the mat, so I need to fix that. Continuing our circular layout theme, here's our little breakfast nook. Having a breakfast nook is truly something that has been on my like dream home wish list since I was like a little girl and would go to open houses with my parents, and it just feels so kismet. I feel like this house was really made for us. We think this is like our forever home, and it just felt like it was meant to be. This is an IKEA lamp that I cut the cord on and hardwired into the ceiling. I've learned a lot of new skills renovating this house. And our little table with our thrifted chairs. I almost always have a paint by numbers canvas right here next to our hutch, which I got on Facebook Marketplace. I feel like this piece really brought this whole area together and joined this room and this room, which we'll get to in a second. I'm not gonna do like a full backyard tour because A, it's raining, and B, everything is kind of winterized, so everything is covered up. The patio hasn't been pressure washed. It will defrost for the spring in approximately 4 to 6 weeks. So I'll insert some footage here from our backyard renovation video. This whole thing was like broken tile and pea gravel when we moved in. This is the space that has had probably the biggest transformation, either that or our main bathroom. And I am just so in love with the way that it turned out. The one thing that we've added since that renovation footage that I want to show is the greenhouse. You can see her over there, my prized possession. Again, I'll insert some footage so you can see the inside, but having a greenhouse is so much fun. First of all, I do a lot of gardening. Tending a garden in the spring and summer is like one of my primary joys in life. I adore it, but also it's just a nice space to go to like write a little bit. I am an author, so I've always got a project that I'm working on, and I can just like go and escape a little bit, take a little space heater in there. And we just got it at Costco. It was a Costco greenhouse, but I don't know what this house would be like without it. It's just like my favorite thing. Then here is our family room. We've got the other fireplace in here. This is the one that's usually going. I made this mantle myself, which was really cool. And the kids have a playhouse over here. And we also did this whole board and batten wall ourselves, and I love how it turned out. I just feel like it adds so much character and texture to the space because before it was just like a plain wall. I get a lot of questions about our couch. This is from Interior Define, and honestly, for a white couch, it's held up really well with 2 toddlers, but I do think that if I was going to do it over again, I would get one that was like fully washable because I can take off the cushions, but obviously this part, not so much. I love having little handmade touches scattered throughout the house, like I made this quilt. It makes me so happy every time I see it. And then we're all the way around to our laundry room. This room is very hard to film in because A, it's tiny, B, it's very weirdly shaped, and also the lighting is bad. Maybe if I just stand like this the whole time. But this was another completely DIY renovation. Like literally the paint is just 4 cans of paint mixed together to make a random color. These are actually IKEA desktop that we cut up. It's like a butcher block kind of a look. Got wallpaper back there from Rocky Mountain decals, and I just really wanted to make this space fun because it's small, it's dark, lots of baskets. It's a joy to do laundry in here, it really is. Our powder bath was a complete gut job and we did all of it ourselves. This is so small, I'm not even gonna attempt to fit in the frame. I'm just gonna be behind the camera. You'll see what I mean. Here she is once again. Very difficult to film because it is so small in here. Hi. But I feel like this room packs a big punch even though it is so small, especially because of this tile. We've got this like Art Deco style tile going on. We did a vessel sink in here, which honestly I kind of regret just because our water is so hard that no matter how much we scrub, we cannot get this like calcium stuff off. I guess it's not so much the sink that I regret as the faucet. Maybe we'll change the faucet out one day. But yeah, it's a sweet little bathroom. Does its job just fine. And then we're back in the entryway. It's just a big old circle. And the last room I have to show you downstairs, because I do have a whole upstairs to show you, is my office. I'm definitely a person who needs a beautiful, inspiring place to work in order to be productive. And thus the office was born. This space serves a lot of purposes for me. Probably most obviously, we've got my desk where I sit down, do all my computer work, editing things. I love this vintage valance that I got at an estate sale. I think it's so gorgeous. I'm definitely a knick-knack girly, so there's always a lot of knickknacks on here. And then swinging around here, we have this shelf, which these days is mostly dedicated to my book. If you didn't know, I'm an author. I just wrote my very first cozy romantasy novel. It came out last year, and truly being an indie author is like being in a fandom of one, where you like make all your own merch for yourself because you're so obsessed with your characters. But I also have stock on hand for shipping. I sell the signed copies of my book on my website and on my TikTok, and then I also have the crowns on TikTok. So this is kind of like my distribution shelf at the moment. Got my content calendar, and then a shelf with, you guessed it, more knickknacks. This is thrifted and it's one of my favorite pieces in our house because I just feel like it allows me to display the knickknacks in a way that doesn't feel chaotic, and also with like the flowers hanging from it. I'm usually drying something here. It does feel a little bit like witch's cottage in the middle of the foresty. We put these French doors in and I could not love them more. I think they're so gorgeous and add so much to the space. And then over here, we've got this gallery wall with this vintage dresser that I got on Marketplace that has all my craft supplies in it. And I often sit in this chair and film videos with this as the background. And there's also usually some kind of ongoing craft project here. Like right now, I've got some pottery that is drying so I can go and get it fired. So that's usually littered with some kind of half-finished project. The fact that we own this home is truly unbelievable to me. I never thought that I would buy a house at 24 years old. I feel so incredibly lucky. But I also know that we worked really, really hard for it. And one of the things that we did was really work hard on our credit. And I really wish I had known about Kickoff, who's sponsoring today's video, because it would have made the journey so much easier. If you're struggling with low credit or even no credit, Kickoff can be a great hack. It's a credit building tool that helps you build credit safely and easy. It's not scammy. There's no schemes involved. It just helps you to improve key credit factors. It's the #1 credit building app in the App Store for a reason. It's been praised by Credit Karma and NerdWallet, and it's super easy to use. You can sign up in minutes with no credit check, no hidden fees, no interest, and affordable plans that start at just $5 a month. On-time payments to Kickoff are reported to all 3 credit bureaus. So it helps with like the positive payment and low utilization, things like that they look at. And it really does work. Kickoff users with scores under 600 that made on-time payments improved their credit by an average of 25 points in the first month and 84 points in their first year. That's like life-changing. We never would have been able to buy this house without good credit. If you want to try Kickoff, they're giving you guys a special offer down in the description for 80% off your first month, which means that your first month could be like $1. Go to getkickoff.com/Megan. Do yourself a favor, give yourself the keys to a future with better credit. Now let's go upstairs because I got a whole other floor to show you. Got some wedding photos here as we walk up. Oh, babies. And I have to take a moment for this hallway because this is something that you almost never see on camera because it's just kind of like an in-between space. But we've got this gallery wall over here. And I'm obsessed with this antique cabinet that I got off of Marketplace. It was painted with chalk paint. You can actually still see, I still need to do like the inside of the door here, but I spent so many hours and so much sweat stripping this down. And I love it. Just like look at the little Look at the little details. So sweet. I think it was like $20. Our most recently renovated space is our bedroom. And I turned this into the cottage bedroom of my dreams. I'm so obsessed with how it turned out. I did this whole wall all by myself. Matt wasn't available that day and I wanted to tackle it. So I did, and I think it turned out great. Similar story with these nightstands. I found them on Marketplace and they had a bad stain on them, so I spent a long time stripping and restaining them, and I think they turned out so darling. Got a matching pair of them. It still just feels so dreamy to me to be in here, and I'm really a fan of like displaying functional things. Like this is my vintage quilt collection stack, and it's also a piece of decor in our room because it makes me happy every time I see it. And then over on this wall, we have this IKEA dresser, which if you saw our bedroom renovation video, you'll have seen how I transformed this to look like the pine dresser of my dreams. I'd still love to put trim on the drawers, but like the little feet and the handles and the stain and everything, I love it so much. And of course, my bookshelf, because I am a reader for sure. Also self-indulgently displaying my own book because I'm just obsessed with the cover. I've got all kinds of little knickknacks that correlate to the books that they're by down here as well, which I think is so fun. And the reason this wall is blank, I know it looks a little bit weird, is because we have this projector and Matt and I use it all the time. It is the coziest way to do movie night. Something about having the projector instead of a TV is so nice. So that's why we keep this wall blank. Big old mirror here for those OOTDs. This one's from Cezanne. And then quite possibly my favorite room in the house because of the blood, sweat, and tears we put into it over like an 18-month span. There's a whole video on the whole renovation because we like gutted this all the way down to the studs, no floor, and then did almost the entire thing ourselves. The only thing we had a little bit of help with was the plumbing for the tub because we were not gonna touch that. We'll do the plumbing in the other bathrooms, but not for a tub. This is our bathroom, and this feels like a spa, but also cozy and vintage. I don't know. It's my favorite vibe in the world. It looks just like my Pinterest board, which was still wild, and we saved so much money by doing it ourselves. The quotes we were getting were truly insane, and we didn't have $50,000 to put into a bathroom. That's just nuts. So we took a lot of time. We used the kids' bathroom for 1.5 years while we fully renovated this, and I'm gonna show you some of my favorite details. I love this apron front sink. I think it's so unique to have one of these in a bathroom. I've pretty much only seen them in kitchens, but I love it, and I think the warm wood adds a lot to the space because otherwise it's a lot of white and black, but you add the wood in there and it just warms everything up. The star of the show is the clawfoot tub. Again, this is something I've wanted since I was a little girl, and it just feels like a dream come true to me. This is not cast iron, it's actually acrylic because we were concerned about the weight on the second story, and also cast iron tubs can take a really long time to heat up, and then you can end up with kind of like a lukewarm bath, and so I wanted something that would give me a nice hot bath. So I've got my gorgeous clawfoot tub. We did shiplap on the walls, which I think was such a fun choice. Again, adding some texture and some character to the space. This light is, I believe, actually originally from Target, but I did get it secondhand. Then we've got our peg rack in the back here, fake olive tree from Nearly Natural, and then the shower. This was probably the most frustrating part, tiling all this Zelish tile ourselves. We went with that like irregular handmade tile because A, we knew we were gonna mess up, and so like it's less visible, but also again, texture. You'll hear me say that a million times in this video. I love the vintage tile behind here. I love the grid doors. I love the wallpaper and the little water closet. The skylight, obviously we didn't put in, but I'm so thankful for it because the lighting in here is always so beautiful. And also, oh, when it rains, the skylight and the bath, it's a wonderful combination. Then over here we have my closet. Yes, I know this is quite excessive, but there it is, there you go. In my defense, we do have 4 distinct seasons here, and everything for all of those is in this closet. And then we've got Rowan's room. I do have plans for this room. I want to do like a whole wall treatment on this side and paint it. I haven't decided between like a darker green or like a navy blue, but that is on the projects list because I feel like we painted the whole house white when we moved in just to have like a clean slate, and then we've been slowly adding color to different rooms. And I feel like this room needs a little something something. It's a little messy right now because he cleaned it himself for the video, which was very sweet. So hopefully you'll get the idea. This just feels like such a quintessential little boy's room to me. Again, a lot of thrifted treasures, artwork. Look at, he made his bed. This is one of my favorite things, this bed. It's a vintage IKEA item and I get a lot of questions about it and I unfortunately am no help. It's called the Lexfic bed, but I had to search for like a good year and a half before I was able to find one on Marketplace. Then Matt and I drove 3 hours to get it and then I sanded down and refinished the whole thing. So definitely a labor intensive process, but I think it's so cute. The kiddos' grandparents travel a lot, so we have a big old world map so we can show them where they are when they go on trips. My brother-in-law made this for him when he was a big Bluey fan, so that's in here. Got his name signed from his nursery. And that's his room. The kiddos' bathroom was also a very recent renovation. We did this whole thing for $500, which is crazy if you look at what it looked like before. I love how it turned out. I didn't want to do anything like super nice while I knew they were little and it's just gonna get all beat up. So we did a lot of things like contact paper on the vanity and the vinyl sticky floor tiles. And you know what? I think it still looks great. The string lights are their recent addition because they both get a little bit nervous of the dark. So we put those in here to help with middle of the night potty trips. I love the shower curtain. This was like the inspiration for the whole bathroom because my kids love bunnies and cats and strawberries and bows. And so when I found something that had all of those things on them, I was like, immediate yes. We've got a thrifted pine medicine cabinet over here. I love the detailing of all the gold hardware that we just got on Amazon. This feels like a very sweet, special space. Juniper's room is one of my favorite spaces in the house as well. It just feels so soft and girly in here. I had so much fun putting this room together for her. We painted the walls this really pretty light green and just filled it with a lot of very whimsical details. Like she loves this picture. This is her favorite. She always asks about the bees having a tea party and wants me to tell her a story about them. And then I also have a lot of like little details that are very sentimental to me in here. For example, these little dried flowers are flowers that we got on our baby moon when I was pregnant with her. My favorite newborn outfit hanging up still, even though she's 2.5 now. Got her little ultrasound displayed here. This bookshelf was actually mine when I was a little girl, so that's very special. And then lots of little personal details, like I painted this magazine rack to be a little book holder for her. One of her little newborn bows here. I'm still obsessed with this antique dresser I got on Marketplace. Also these little vintage brass butterflies I love. Perfectly sweet little space for my sweet little girl. And then lastly, for a complete 180 in design style, we've got the game room. I've got my office. This is Matt's space, but he did carve out a little corner for me to side-by-side game with him here, so I'll show you my little gaming desk. Here is my little space. I like to play cozy games, so this is where I sit and play Stardew Valley. This is where I sit when we do our D&D campaigns, so you'll see a lot of like dice and miniatures, all color over here. It was really fun to play with a completely different aesthetic, like a much younger aesthetic than the rest of the house. Get to show my nerdy side a little bit more. If you wanted more info on any one of these individual rooms, they do pretty much all have their own YouTube videos, like the bathroom renovation, the bedroom, the kids' bathroom, Juniper's room, the playroom downstairs, all have videos. And make sure you're subscribed if you like this design style and you like sweet little cottagecore cozy content, because like I said, I'm gonna be filming doing the library, and we also do like a lot of cozy hobby things on this channel. And that's it. That's my house. Thank you guys so much for coming in and touring it with me today. It was really fun and special to show you guys everything we've done and reflect on the last 4 years. And I can't wait to see what the next 4 have in store. I love you guys a lot. I can't wait to see you in my next video. And until then, stay cozy. Bye!